Hello. Hey, what's up guys? It's me, Retro, and today we're doing a Power Rangers remix. I'm going to be interviewing some Power Rangers from the original cast, so enjoy the video. Here we go!
It's time for another On the Spot! On the Spot!
Why do you think the Power Rangers have remained so popular for so long?
I think Power Rangers, that's everything a kid wants to see. You have the karate, you have the colors, you have the love story between me and the Pink Rangers.
Oh, I think that's real sweet. I kind of like being a part of that. I like that JDF. I think he's real sweet and kooky and weird.
So I think it's everything, it's action and it's fun and it's not real life, and that's what I think we like to see sometimes, is something fun.
Power Rangers has everything that you could possibly want, especially when you're a kid. We have bright colors, we're superheroes, we have dinosaurs, we're a group of friends that believe in teamwork, and so we support each other, we stick up for each other, we protect each other, and we get to go out and protect the world.
One, we had a positive message, you know, it was like we were positive role models, so that was good. So parents like that. And then there was the action of it. There was martial arts, there was gymnastics, there was robots, there was dinosaurs, there was like wacky monsters, and it was like, so there was so much to it that I think people enjoyed. It hit. It was the right time, right place.
There's no real boundary. It doesn't really stick to a particular race, a particular creed, a particular culture. I think there's something there that everyone can identify with. The show is popular in 40 countries, in 90 languages. So it speaks to a lot of different races, cultures, types of people, families, and ages. So I think there's a lot of people who can look at one of the characters or many of the characters and find something that they identify with, whether it's a brother figure, sister figure, father figure, mother figure. There's something there that's special to a lot of people out there.
The other thing was, which was very important, it was a diverse cast of characters. So it showed that people from all walks of life can come together and be friends and actually become a team and achieve something successful.
How do you think the Power Rangers have grown over the years?
Oh my gosh, we're in 25 years. Let's just go there. There's some similarities to the original episodes. They keep bringing back some of the original characters. I haven't really watched a lot of the newer episodes, so I don't really know how it's grown so much. The fandom has grown, I'll say that. The fandom has grown because the generation that used to watch us when we were little, now their kids are watching, so it's pretty awesome.
He was my age when he started watching the original ones. I'm now the age he was back then, and now I'm watching all the newer ones.
Oh, I love
that.
Like, it's generation.
It's generation.
Yes, that's awesome. See, you're a product of that.
Grown? Oh, it's grown massively, actually. This month is actually the 25-year anniversary of Power Rangers. It's been around for 25 years now, and I started on the show 24 years ago, and it's just been a crazy ride. I can't believe that people still love Power Rangers as much now as they did back then. Very cool.
Oh my gosh! You know what? It's funny because the show keeps the action. It keeps the group. It keeps the multicultural cast, which I love because every little kid has someone that they can directly identify with. But I think now it has the stunts are probably a little bit crazier. People are a lot more athletic. I mean, we were athletic, but the things that I see the new cast doing, I mean, it blows my mind. They're like flipping in the air, and these guys are like acrobats. Like, some of them really have worked for the circus. So it's like the talent just keeps getting, the fighting keeps getting bigger, better and better and better, and it's like what we thought we were doing back then, it was so cutting edge, and it just goes to show you, it only gets better in time.
When did it finally sink in that you were famous? What was one of the moments that it just all hit you?
That the Power Rangers had become quite popular was when we did the Universal Amphitheater show that turned into like 4 shows that day because they kept selling out the theater. So then it was like, oh wow, this is quite popular.
Unbelievable crowd.
And to turn a freeway into a parking lot.
A Power Ranger gridlock in the northbound Hollywood Freeway.
Their mere presence backed up freeway traffic for 10 miles.
I really didn't think the show was going to become as popular as it did. I just thought, this is my first acting gig. I'm going to do this for a year. I had no idea it was going to become popular. So I was just trying to learn a lot and do the best I could on the show, which I did learn a lot on the show.
Did you ever think this role would make you forever famous?
No, not in a million years did I ever think that the show would become the phenomenon that it was and has been for 20-some years now. It's very humbling for me and for the original cast. We went through so much together through the audition process, and then starting the show, we filmed almost the entire first season of the TV show before it even started airing on TV, so we had no real gauge of how it was going to go. And then it started airing, and it just shot to #1 like almost overnight, and not only here in the U.S., but all around the world. So it's pretty cool and exciting to be a part of, you know?
I thought it'd be memorable. I thought it'd be something that people would go, oh, that character was cool, but I had no idea that 26 years later we'd still be here, and that I would have 3 generations of fans. So I'm pretty amazed.
As time has gone on, it's just really exciting to hear so many stories when we travel around the world about how Power Rangers, the characters that we played, had such an influence on people's lives. Like, people became martial artists because they watched Power Rangers. Because I played the nerd, people became scientists and doctors, and I even have one fan who's a paleontologist. Like, he goes out and digs up dinosaurs, and you know, he's all, that's just because of Billy. So it's really exciting to hear those kinds of stories. And unfortunately, there's stories too where kids are in maybe not great homes, like they have abusive parents or their parents are divorced, and Power Rangers is like their one saving grace, and like that makes them feel good, so they always want to watch Power Rangers, and that brings them happiness. So hearing stories like that, you know, is really humbling to know that we have that kind of an impact on people's lives.
Then in hindsight now, especially going to conventions and meeting people, the kids who are now grown up, and telling me their stories of how much the show meant to them, I think it's really cool and such a blessing to have been a part of a show that, you know, inspired and influenced so many young girls. Especially in the character that I had no idea. I like your hair, by the way.
Thank you. I'm curious what a young actor goes through when landing such a major role. Could you take me through your experience?
It was crazy. I was told sometime after the fact that I guess about 10,000 people showed up for each of our roles, for the original 5 cast members, and you know, there were a lot of people who I guess could have been Jason. David Yost, who was Billy, originally tried out for Jason.
When we did the original auditions, most of us answered an ad in a publication called Backstage West, which is what comes out in Los Angeles, and it lists all the open casting calls in the city.
So I didn't answer the Backstage ad. I was actually, I had done a commercial workshop with a woman named Katie Wallens, who was the casting director on Power Rangers. And so she called me and said, oh, there's a show that I'm casting, and I think you'd be great for it.
And at the time, there was one called Phantoms.
Oh, I only remember Dino Rangers. Yeah. Everybody has a different story. Hindsight's a weird thing.
And it was supposed to be a live-action TV show, and there was 5 characters. One of the characters' names was Victor, and I fit that breakdown. So I went and auditioned for the role of Victor, which eventually became Jason. So I originally auditioned for the role of Victor. I had 3 auditions for that character. But I could tell that the producers were going to cast somebody else, so I asked them to let me read for the role of Billy, and they told me no, you don't look like the part, you're not what we're thinking. And I said, I know I can do the role, will you please let me read for it? And they told me no again. And so I went in the bathroom and I wet my hair down, and I borrowed somebody's glasses, and I borrowed somebody's button-up shirt, and I buttoned my shirt wrong, and I came back and I said, please let me read for the role of Billy. And then they said, okay. So then I read for Billy, and then they brought me back. I had 5 more auditions for that role, and eventually I got it.
So I came in, and I don't know how many callbacks we have. I think David says there was 8, so I trust him. He's a trustworthy guy. So, yeah, it was very exciting and nerve-wracking.
Jason Frank, I found out later, had tried out for Jason. So I guess there could have been a lot of different variations for Jason. But by some dumb luck, I got it.
I mean, just keep trying. And
Yeah, so just, be persistent. If you believe something in your heart, just follow through.
Towards the end, they had 3 groups. There was a tall group, there was a medium group, and a short group. Obviously, I was in the super tall group.
We were the short cast. And there was like a comical cast. And we all had to show what we did. We had to do the same scene together. We had to show our fighting skills, our gymnastic skills, and in the case of my character, hip-hop keto was my form of martial arts, so I had to dance, do martial arts, and gymnastics at the same time. So we all had to do that, and then they just picked the one they thought was best. And that was me.
As far as chemistry goes, the original 5, we spent a lot of time hanging out together and, reading our lines together to kind of get to know each other and to build our own chemistry. And I guess in the end it paid off, So they didn't really test us. We just kind of made it work. I was asked to do tons of my first audition was just martial arts. So if I hadn't known martial arts, I definitely wouldn't have gotten hired. I wasn't an actor, so I didn't know anything about acting. I had to be guided a lot by the directors and the casting coaches on how to read lines, how to look at a camera or not look at the camera, or kind of face the camera without looking at the camera while giving lines. And I didn't know any of these things. I immediately was learning a ton, and it was like drinking through a fire hose, but it was great.
how long did you actually get to be in the suit?
I did 125 episodes of the show, so I was on the show for 3 years, so I wore the suit a lot.
I did my stunts every absolute opportunity I could. You could always tell when I was in the suit. I was built like a brick house. But as far as my non-suit fights, it was always me.
On our show, we actually would fight as ourselves. So they call those the civilian fights.
We did some fight scenes too, but mainly we would do plainclothes fight scenes.
So those we had to do. We didn't have a stunt double. We didn't have anybody who could come in and help us do that. And then at the end of the episode, it was always like once the trouble just escalated, then we'd morph and become Power Rangers.
And then whenever the suits were on and the helmets were on, you couldn't see our face anyway. That would be the stunt guys doing stuff. And then we'd go in and record our voice later.
They ran 3 camera units, and 2 of them had to see our faces. So if we had to be on a unit where our faces were visible, then we couldn't be in the costume footage unit. So we had stunt guys that would be in those suits doing that if we had to be in front of the other 2 face units. So there were times where we couldn't. But guys like myself and Walter and Johnny, every single opportunity we could, we were always over there doing our stunts. Always, 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 if we could.
When they needed us on set to do a scene that was like a speaking scene, where you had lines and so forth and so on, then it was more important to me to do have those moments than to be in the suit where you could put anybody in the suit. Like, you could put anybody and you wouldn't know it was me or not. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was more important to do things where I got to act on screen and speak,
And back then, the show would come on every day. So literally, we would be shooting fights, and the stunt doubles would be shooting fights. Like, we had to shoot continuously, and we were always behind schedule.
But it made it easier because we could film the episodes faster. They'd be filming at the same time that we were filming, and we'd get the episodes done a lot quicker.
We had 2 crews. There was first unit crew and second unit crew. And we would literally shoot 4 to 5 episodes every 2 weeks. So it was a very intense schedule. So we would literally shoot a show, and every 3 days would be a new episode. So we shot really fast. A lot of work. Crazy.
Well, I think in the beginning they didn't want Billy to be able to fight. That was really important for the creators, that's how my character was portrayed. And so when we first started the show, we trained in martial arts, TV martial arts as we call it, for like a month. And I started getting really good, and then the creator of the show came in and saw I was getting too good, and he got very angry and upset, and he was like, no, he like had a yelling fit. that's not what I want for this character. So then I got really scared as an actor, like I didn't want to get fired, so I just sort of stopped doing stuff. So in the beginning, they made Billy sort of be goofy when he was fighting, sort of accidental fighting. And then over time, which was good for my character, you got to see Billy develop. He took Jason, his friend Jason, taught him martial arts. Tommy taught him martial arts. And so over the course of the 3 years that I was on the show, or the 3 seasons, Billy really grew, and I got to fight more. So as time went on, I got to do more fighting.
With your background in MMA, have you been allowed to do your own stunts yet?
Oh yeah, I do all my own stunts. That's just the way it needs to be. Everybody knows me on set.
But there were times where everyone, including Jason, couldn't be in the suit.
If I can't do my own stunts, I feel bad about myself, so I do them.
Wow. What was your first thoughts when you found out you'd be a toy, and not just any toy, but one of the most sought-after toys of any holiday season, according to my dad, who was my age at the time?
Well, at 18, the first time they put my own toy in my hand, I was pretty blown away. I was really blown away. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I didn't quite know what to make of it, and I definitely couldn't foresee that 25 years later, people would be screaming about collector's items and bringing toys like those and others to me to sign.
And then Christmas that year, I think the year before it was the Cabbage Patch Kid was really popular, and then that year it was the Power Rangers, and they would all sell out, and it was like, oh, I guess our show is really popular.
I mean, the first year when we had all the toys coming out and Power Rangers were so popular and everybody's parents were fighting with each other at Target and at Walmart trying to get our toys, that was a really weird experience for us.
Like Black Friday, parents would go out and be like, no, give me that toy.
Oh yeah, the first year people were just like totally fighting, getting in real fights. Like that's not how Power Rangers want people to be. We're fantasy, we fight aliens, we don't fight real people.
TM work.
Yeah, so no fighting.
I remember at that time that is when we all knew that the show was quite popular because all the toys would get sold out.
It was crazy. At the time the show came out, it was so difficult to get a toy that parents went crazy because all their kids wanted it. It was like the Christmas gift to get, and people spent the night outside of Toys R Us. They camped out to be the first one in the store so they could get the toy for their kid or their son or their daughter. And people, it was crazy. It was a crazy time. I mean, we didn't even get them, but the people that did get them for their kids were really, really excited. It's one of those talking points. I got a Power Ranger doll, so it's crazy. So
go to school with your Power Rangers doll. Yo, look, I got a Power Rangers doll, and you don't.
You don't.
I'm the most popular kid now.
Whoop, whoop, there it is. Black Ranger in the house. Hey, so it's cool. Real talk. Real talk, right?
But it's obviously cool to have so many, like little action figures made after yourself. It's really cool. I mean, so many actors in Hollywood will never get that experience, and so to be a part of a show where I have hundreds of toys that are after my character is just awesome.
It's one of the most special feelings I guess a guy could have, or a lady could have, to be a part of something that is so special to so many. It makes it pretty special to me.
It's pretty amazing. In fact, right now, I have a pop. I have a Funko Pop, which is cool. It's got my face on it, right? So this is my third pop. I had the one with the helmet. I had the one with that was morphing, and now I have one that's unmasked, and it's my character, Zach. So nobody else has ever been that character or will ever be that character. I also love the fact that it is something that will be here when I'm long gone. So that's cool.
It looked nothing like me, is what I thought. I thought, this Barbie doll has long, luscious hair and is very tall and bigger boobs than I have.
I mean, whenever they make like toys of girls, they always kind of turn out to look like guys for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. They need to fix that.
Yeah.
Did you give yourself out as a gift to anyone in the holiday season? And if you did, was it weird handing yourself out as a present to your family?
I do not give myself out as a gift.
Never.
Why?
So that would be weird. Here's a doll of myself that looks nothing like me, but has really nice hair. No, I did not. Although at the cons I get lots of weird little gifts, and I give them to my daughter. So that's kind of like that, yeah.
But I feel like, packaging myself up as a gift and handing it to someone for Christmas might be a lesson in arrogance. I don't know, but I'm not going to wrap it up and assume somebody would want that as a gift.
I can't say that I ever gave myself out to anybody as a gift. That's a little weird, I think, and a little conceited, maybe is the word. I don't know. I wouldn't do that, but unless somebody asks.
I can't say that I've done it as a present, or maybe I can. I think in the 26 years at some point, I've given myself away to someone. Yeah, I was like, here, have this. This is a gift, and I'll sign it, whatever.
What's a lesson you learned later in life that you wish you would have known sooner?
I think when I was on the show Power Rangers, I would have appreciated it a little bit more. I was in college at the time. I appreciated it, but I think I would have appreciated it a little bit more and just soaked it in a little bit more.
That's how I feel whenever I go into my interviews.
Rule number 1, shut up and listen. Something I heard many times as a young man that I didn't truly understand the value of until I got older.
Just to totally trust my instincts. And just believe in myself. Unfortunately, in the industry that I work in, people are always going to tell you no, and people are going to try to bring you down, but you just have to continually believe and trust in yourself. And so, this is one of my mottos. It says, embrace who you are, believe in who you are, affirm who you are. So the first most important thing for all of us is to embrace everything about ourselves and just accept ourselves how we are. And then you have to believe that anything that you want to do and achieve, you can do. So you then affirm yourself. You go out in the world and you affirm yourself. This is who I am. You can like me. You cannot like me. I don't care. I'm proud of me. And I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to do that makes me happy.
Rule number 2, slow down. Rule number 3, Mom and Dad really are pretty smart. And they're almost always really right. Even when I didn't want them to be.
Something I was taught by my mom was to look at life with the glass half full. And I don't think I really understood what that meant until I got older. And now it's the way I live my life. I like to think that I look really young. And people ask me, how do I look young? And I say, it's because of cocoa butter and positivity. And cocoa butter for the skin, positivity for the soul. Because when we all go through problems. We all have issues of some sort at some time. But when you can be grateful for the things that you do have, or for the things that you have received, or for the people that are in your life, then when you're grateful, you're happy. So it's just a choice.
Rule number 4, when you think you're right, check again. Rule number 5, trust, but verify. That's probably 5 good ones right there.
Probably to not compare myself to other people and just focus on what I want to do. And yeah, I spent a lot of time worrying about what other people are doing. Right. That's not a good idea.
That's not.
Yeah.
You know what? I think the biggest lesson I learned is not to worry about what other people think. Because the minute you get brave and you love yourself and you stop worrying about what other people think, then you just do you. And that's the best day of your life, because then you can just kind of be a free spirit. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think growing up, you kind of have to figure it out.
It's great advice for kids out there.
You.
Tommy Oliver has arguably been the most popular character. Why do you think it is him, even in the comics?
I think that the Green Ranger and the White Ranger, I think if you can follow your dreams, you'll have 3 things. You'll have purpose, passion, and then later on you can make a living at what you want to do. So because what you're doing now, right, you have purpose, you have passion. No one's paying you thousands of dollars to do this, right? But maybe one day you'll get thousands of dollars, but you can't focus on that. You got to focus on your work, and you have to have a purpose. And right now I think this is your purpose and passion is to interview me. So it's kind of a divine appointment, The man upstairs, you know, God said, hey, let's make an appointment and interview this guy. So you keep up the good work, and I'm passionate about what I do, and I think you can't hide passion with the fans. You know what I mean?
That the voice of the Comic-Con God starts talking, and he interrupts me every time. I've got a beef with that guy. Who are you? I'm like, every time I do like a podcast, shut up! The Comic-Con God has struck again.
And that's it for today. Well, see you guys next time. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, like button, share with all your friends. Bye!